What is going on, guys? Seed here with another installment of some Tekken 8 gameplay footage, and instead of bringing you guys that one perfect match archetype that we've got going on the channel, I figured, you know what, let's digress just a slight bit and let's do something that we haven't done in quite some time. Let's go on a win streak, right? So I've learned enough in terms of blocking, right? And defense, right? Because I'm using my main character, right? So we're using the best of the combo strings, right? In a competitive context, right? Not in the traditional artistic context, right? Because there are much better looking and smoother combos, but do they translate into the actual fight? Right? Most of the time, no, because by the time you get to like the third, fourth move, the opponent will, at this level, the opponents already know how to punish you, right? And will stop your string, mid-string, right? Your combo string. So, what else is there to say, right? So, we're not doing the one perfect match format today, but we are facing off against Neptune, right? And Neptune is using Rock Lee. Right? So that's the Naruto reference right there, right off the bat, and I am of course using my Vergil character model for the first time, I believe, in a video, right? But obviously they're all there in the back burner, right? I pretty much maxed out all the blocks with Hwoarang, and I'm getting around to like the other characters, martial law. I put in a lot of the cool comic book characters, right, that you guys would absolutely get some joy of just seeing. It's like, wow, you know, I'm going to toot my own horn, right, because I put a lot of work into all of them, right? I think the aura I've got to change on Vergil, I think that's the only thing that I was missing, right? And I keep forgetting to do that, and I'm gonna do that like right after I make this video. But yeah, we've got the Naruto reference right there, and martial law is of course a Jeet Kune Do fighting style archetype, right? Which is loosely based on, it's like probably, you know, a nod, an absolutely perfect nod to none other than Master Bruce, right? Yeah. Where am I going with this? Yeah, so once more, we are trying to get a win streak going, right? Because we haven't done a win streak in quite some time, right? And I was like, after facing a God of Destruction player, right? Beating my first God of Destruction player, you already know the level that you have to play at, right? And the speed and the tempo, and it's pretty much at rates that could fry your brain, right? And it's not something I like to do, right? It's something that's much easier done when you're younger, right? It's like Formula 1 speeds, right? Like that's the speed that you're actually processing information, right? And a lot of it is believe it or not, right? But I think I mentioned this in like previous videos. A lot of it is when you're playing at that level, a lot of it is the first misstep and the match is already over because the strings are advanced strings, right? Advanced combinations, right? That work in real time, right? Across the board. Against all character models, right? So in any case, right? I'm using like the ones that the combo strings that work correctly for me, that I know, that I've taken the time to learn, and I've still got to work on my blocking and things like that. And we were playing casual Tekken for quite some time, right? So I was like, okay, you know what? Let me just kick it up a notch, right? And play some like I'm putting this in quotation marks, competitive Tekken, right? But there is a competitive a brilliant, thriving, competitive Tekken 8 community, right? And it's absolutely good times. It's absolutely epic, right? The International Olympic Committee literally just dropped esports into the fray, right? So guys, you guys are all getting the recognition you deserve. Absolutely brilliant, absolutely epic, right? The only thing is, right, for everyone who's been in the esports realm and the sports realm, right? But the esports realm's just slightly different, right? Because you're sitting down all the time, right? You gotta remember to just take care of your hygiene, take care of washing your face, touching grass, getting some sunlight, you know, not becoming a complete, you know, like recluse, right? So in reality, what you're doing is you just pedal to the metal, grinding 24/7, grind, right? And anyone who's been in that arena respects it. They respect the work, they respect the glory seeking that is actually there, right? Because it is a competitive framework in mind, right? So guys, all the best to every, all of the new generational players, right? The next generation of esports players and the next generation of competitive and multiplayer players, right? Guys, hats off to you guys. Good luck, right? I'm pretty much old. I'm on the tail end, and I'm like 30 pounds overweight right now, right? And I've got to get my, like, other aspects of my life in check, right? It's like if I'm playing chess with myself, like no. Better analogy, right? The check engine light on the car, right? I've probably got like all of the lights blinking right now, and I've just got to get a whole bunch of other things to get done. But this morning, guys, I faced off against I usually play 3 warm-up matches that I don't show, right? Because I just know like my brain ain't firing. It ain't firing. It's just like you're stepping in and you're like, okay, you got to treat it as a warm-up. So I usually get my behind, like I'm not playing consistent, right? I'm just like getting my reflexes in check, right, for like 3 matches. And I usually use the 3-match rule, right? Like I used it in FIFA. I used it in Quake, the Quake days way back then, right? Quake 2 days, right? It's like a 3-match rule before you end up firing like correctly, right? So that's the esports realm, right? And it translates. It's pretty much the same in the sports, the physical sports realm, right? So yeah, the distinguishing factors are there, but it's still a sport, right? So I treat it in the same way, right? So the pros that I faced this morning, they'll already know. They gave me they handed me my behind, right, on a silver platter this morning, right? So then I took a break, had some coffee, had some water, right? Had a very light breakfast, and I was like, you know what? Let me get on a win streak, right? Let me get a win streak going for the channel, right? To show you guys that I'm here, right? To show you guys that I'm checking in, making sure everybody's good, everybody's keeping the vibes fresh, vibes clean, right? And I want to believe this is an X-Men character because it looks like one, right? Because of the claws, right? But I can't be sure, right? I'm trying to remember the X-Men character, right? So we've seen a Naruto character, right off the bat, and obviously I'm donning my Vergil character model, right? So I still gotta tweak. I still gotta tweak out my Vergil a little better, right? So I do the hints to Devil May Cry, right? Obviously I've got young Dante, I've got old Dante, I've got Vergil, right? I've got Dexter's Lab in here, like Dexter from Dexter's Lab in here, right? I've got a lot of, like hints to, like hybrids, obviously, right? They're hybrids, but I've got references across the wazoo, right? And it's something that I normally do, right? It's something that I normally do. And I've got the Joker, I've got Ra's al Ghul. You get the point, right? It's just something that I naturally do when customizable options are there in the competitive framework. I believe I mentioned that when we were back in like WWF and WWE days, right? I used to do those, like, create a character models all the time and just give them out, right? Because it was just something that I found like really joyous, right? Like it takes it down a notch, right? It adds a level of casualness, right? In something that is not typically casual, right? In a sense, right? I think I think most of you guys and gals, beautiful humans will understand what I'm saying, right? It adds a level of fun, right? It adds a level of unseriousness, right? When you're playing in a competitive landscape, in a competitive framework, right? So you can still have a good time. You can still feel like the vibes are fresh, and like that's the reason for it, right? Like that's the rationale behind it, right? So in any case, I've got to tweak the Vergil character model, right? And to everyone that's tweaked out their character models, I really do try my best to feature all of them, right? As much as I possibly can, right? So I think so far since we've played Tekken, I've seen an absolutely epic Cyclops, an absolutely epic a Cyclops hybrid. I've seen a Jubilee hybrid. I've seen a Rogue hybrid. I've seen a Vegeta hybrid, right? I've seen a lot of Dante hybrids, right? Obviously because they're popular, right? Popular character models, right? To try to bring in game, right? Everyone will bring their custom version of those character models, right? I've seen, the ones that are within reason, right? That you can make, right? I have a Deathstroke character model that I've unveiled, but I haven't I haven't used him in in like a win streak or like a one perfect match setting, right? So right now I'm really liking the Vergil character model. I think I gotta like tweak him with the aura, right? I gotta turn it blue, right? I kept it red by accident, right? I didn't really pay attention when I was doing that. I think I was like hazier, you know, like I think I did after I finished like the Dantes, right? Both the young and the old Dante, right? I got to Vergil and then I was just like, I think I suffered like a huge like loss against like a really high ranking player, and I just went to go to sleep after that. But it was just absolutely good times, right? Like we're having a blast in the Tekken 8 community. We're trying to keep the game alive, right? So they dropped Heihachi. They're going to drop Heihachi. They dropped Lydia, right? And I faced off against someone who unlocked Lydia, right? And the moves are traditional karate, right? Traditional Shotokan, right? So it was cool to see, right? It's a cool character, right? I've got to work on the blocks, like, pertaining to her, right? Every character, right? If it's not your main character, obviously you have to work on the blocks, right? The best thing to do is to just, like, learn the character's offense, and then that takes care of the blocking, right? That takes care of the defense when the defense happens. You know which direction they're going to go, where the strings go, right? The combos go, right? Which direction the combos take, right? Usually. But every player is unique. Their time signatures are unique, right? The tempo that they play at is unique, right? The move sets that they prefer are unique, right? That's the artistic end of the analytical spectrum of fighting games, and in the fighting game community, everyone's gonna know that, right? So, what I want to say now is that my connection has been a little wonky, right? After I think after win 6, right? We're on win 5, right? And we're about to get to win 6. Right, and what I want to say here is that I had no intention of stat padding, right? This is obviously someone just joining in or tuning in or finding the time to play Tekken, right? Not everyone has like infinite amounts of free time to jump in, right? So you gotta like, you know, like usually when I face characters that usually when I face opponents with like lower rankings or just lower, you know, like I do give them more grace, right? I give them more grace to like learn the combos and things like that. Things that are uncharacteristic in a competitive framework, right? Because obviously we do try to keep the vibes clean, right? It's just a game at the end of the day, right? You want to have some fun. You want to keep the community active. You want to make sure that you have that mindset that on any given day, right? You're not fresh. Somebody else is fresher than you. You're not warmed up. Somebody else is more warmed up than you. You know, your mind is, you know, your mind can be contextually in a million other places, and that person's only one-track minded, right? A lot of things can, you know, like happen behind the scenes, between the scenes, right? Between competitors, right? And you want to just give that grace, right? You want to have that understanding that on any given day, anyone can beat anyone else, right? Because it is true, right? I've faced off against, I think I've reiterated this point so many times. I've faced off against, like on paper, people that have like extremely low rankings, right? In this Tekken, and they've managed to pull one out, right? And just win, right? Pull the rabbit out of the hat, right? Just pull some magic out of them, right? And just absolutely just annihilate them, right? Obviously they probably play offline mode, right? And they get more joy out of that, which is absolutely epic too, right? So in any case, we're facing off against Motown Pride, and I don't know who this character is, but it's absolutely fun, right? So we're going high tempo. We're going absolutely high tempo in this match, and he's giving me a run for my money as well. It doesn't look like it, but he is, right? And Motown, hints to Motown. I love Barry Gordy, right? Just throwing that out there, right? The Last Dragon, absolutely epic. If you guys watch Tekken, play Tekken, you guys should watch The Last Dragon, right? It's just absolute epicness, right? That's a summer movie. That's one of my summer movies. I have my winter movies. I have my winter songs. I have my summer songs. I have songs that I play in the winter. I think I mentioned this like maybe like 30, 40 episodes ago, right? I have songs that I play in the winter, songs that I play in the summer, songs that I play in fall, songs that I play in spring. Same goes with movies, same goes with art pieces, right? I'm just that kind of person, right? I've jumped into the habit where I have things, right, that are semantically linked, that are quite personal to me, right? personal to my human experiences, right? So it's always good times, right? It's always good times, right? Half the time when I'm listening to music, right, it's probably referencing one of my friends that showed me a song that I like. Same goes with movies, right? Bringing back a memory, a favorite memory that's tied to something. It's a good way to time travel, right? And as soon as I saw the name Motown Pride, right, I'm just like, okay, Last Dragon, we should put Shonuff in the game. And Bruce Leroy, right? Right? Hybrids of those guys, right? So in any case, the vibes do sound fresh today, this morning, right? So we're trying to make the best of everything, right? On Wednesday, July 24th, 2024. And yeah, once more, guys, hats off to the Olympic, the International Olympic Committee, right? The Olympic Committee, like, they just work some magic, right? They're gonna bring a huger audience base to the Olympics, right? And to all of the Tekken 8 players, to all of the players in the fighting game communities, the adjacent fighting games, to all of the players that play esports, the 2K guys, the NHL guys, the NFL guys, the NBA, I already said NBA, right? The cricket guys, the rugby guys, the soccer guys, right? You name the sport. There's probably lacrosse guys. Like I think there's like a power washing game, right? Like that just dropped. Even those, like if there's a multiplayer of that, you know where I'm gonna go with this. Good luck to you guys, right? That's all I want to say there. So, Cosmic is using a Lily, right? And Lily in this game and Alyssa in this game, I still gotta learn blocks, right? So we're on win number 8, right? And we're still going. We're 16 minutes into this video. And I am just, you know, like today, this is like waking up on the right side of the bed rather than the wrong side of the bed, right? That's what it feels like, right? So, I'm having fun, right? And this is the best way to feature Vergil, right? Like, because Vergil's like ice cold as well, right? In terms of like combo strings, right? So, good luck to everyone, right? Instead of play, like today I got up and I wanted to play serious Tekken. I guess from here on out, I have to play serious Tekken. I don't know. Like, normally I just want to like feature, like normally, like if you look at the one perfect match framework, we try to anticipate blocks more, right? I think that's the easiest way to place those videos into the competitive framework as well, right? We try to feature blocks more, right? So you're playing at the high tempo, but much more of it is less projection, right? Tempo projection and technical projection of where you're going directionally, right? But it's still good times, right? So in any case, right? This was fun, right? So I think we've got this going right here, right? So rematch with Cosmic right now, right? And we're on 9 wins. We're 9 wins in, and yeah. Yeah, today felt like the day, right? But once more, my connection was kind of like freaking out, right? It was a little, it's not apparent at all times, but you can feel it in game, right? You can feel when the connections like dip. And it started drastically dipping towards the end of this video. That's when I just decided to stop. But I restarted my router, right? And I rested my console. So there's still, you know, like, I don't know what's going on, right? Like the game really just needs to be, I think maybe one or two more firmware updates, right? In terms of like performance. Optimization, right? And we should be good to go in the Tekken 8 universe, right? It probably needs a little bit more optimized, right? But I've got all my fans working, right? The game didn't shut off. We don't have that issue that we were having a couple months back in both FIFA, EA Sports FC, and the Tekken 8 universe, right? The Tekken universe, right? We were having that issue where the console was shut off after 3-4 matches, right? Max 5 on a really good day, but it was more like 3 to 4, and then credited with a loss, right? Not that we cared, right? Because like I said, once more, we were playing some artistic Tekken, right? We were trying to get everybody to customize their characters, right? Make sure they had their own unique stamp in the Tekken 8 fighting game community, right? So, facing off against Cosmic, and I gave my opponent some grace right here, right? To try out some moves and to like learn, because not everything has to be, you know, like hyper serious all the time, right? And it was like no harm, no foul at this point for me, right? But obviously it's still somebody that's still learning the game, right? So probably learning their second character. You never know. You never know. So in any case, we're winning right there, right? And good times. Good times. All right. So nearly 20 minutes into the video, and there's my first break. That's when I turned off the console. That's what I was alluding to. So we're going back in really quickly. You guys get a nice little view of, I wanted to show you guys, right? Nice little view of all of the character creations that I have been working on, right? And it's just absolutely cool, right? Like, for me at least, it's cool. But what's not cool is not me taking care of my physical health, right? So, my mind is about to make that switch, right? And I think I'm healthy enough, because something that's been like bugging me, like for my age, like as you get older it happens, but for an athlete it bugs them, right? A lot of athletes experience this, right? When your body just starts like giving up, like physically, right? Like your recovery rates are not the same, right? It definitely is your recovery rate, right? And the jokes, the memes are all there. The memers, the meme community already knows the joke is like, got 8 hours of sleep. Excuse me. Got 8 hours of sleep. Yeah, but you slept wrong, right? So that's the joke. I should have clipped this piece, right? I should have really clipped this piece, right? Because we were waiting for quite some time. But it's a good breather, right? You guys got a good breather. But let me see who I face here. So we're facing Ibrahim. Yeah, first Middle Eastern player. So S+ rank is dominance, retaliation, comeback. Jin's a difficult. Jin's like the best Jin players that I've faced so far were on 10 wins, right? So the best, and he's just probably like, you know, like jumping into like the competitive framework as well. So again, grace period with the flair, right? Some grace moves, right? Giving them some grace to try out their combos, right? But the best Jin players have custom characters, right? And they can absolutely whoop my behind, right? I've gotten whooped pretty badly by pro players playing with Jin. Jin this year will surprise you. I'll put it like that. The combination strengths for Jin this year will surprise you. If you're just tuning in Tekken, he's something, right? He's kind of like an enigma. It's kind of a little harder to deal with, and learn and really just some of the a lot of his moves are, I want to say, overpowered, and they're a little bit more concealed, right? Directionally speaking, right? Because you won't realize that a combo is taking place at times, right? You won't realize that there's a string in place when they're in. You know, like a lot of Jin players from the past already know this. I know this too, but this year it's a little bit more pronounced, right? That the combos, I don't know how to put it. It'll make sense to some people what I'm saying, and some people are like, what are you talking about, right? Jin's feints are, it's the feints, right? So Jin's feints are part of the combos, right? The combo strings, right? And this year his feints are, this Tekken drop, his feints are really good, right? They're really concealed, right? If you're not a Jin player, if you are a Jin player, right? Wow, right? Some of the best Jin players I've faced, they've absolutely just put me to shame, right? They didn't even have a God of Destruction title, right? But they still managed to put me to shame. I think they did have like an 18 Dan, 19 Dan title, right? But still, right? Put me to shame, right? Like absolutely just made me like say, oh man, this ain't my day in Tekken. Let me just turn off the console real quick. Let me go like have some breakfast, watch some TV, chill, right? Do a montage. That's a South Park reference, right? To get back in shape, right? So, yeah, I did put Randy Marsh in the game, right? But that was good time. I'm actually thinking about putting Cartman. So right here, what you're gonna notice, it started to lag, right? My console still started to lag, but then for some reason I started experiencing some like frame tearing, right? I don't know if it's actually frame tearing or lag. Now that's an issue, right? That's an issue. A lot of the pro players, this segue's great, right? With what I want to say here. A lot of the pro players, right, or the people that take their stats seriously, I don't, right? But they are always good like reference points, right, in the competitive field. A lot of the pro players, once they see a lot of lag or a lot of tearing in between gameplays, and it looks extremely, you know, like this is win 12, right? So, and it looks extremely unbearable to play in game. What they do, right? And it is a performance issue that's noticeable, probably noticeable by both competitors, right? What they do is they just mark it no contest, right? And once it's marked no contest, it doesn't affect their stats. Now, I don't care about things like that, right? Because we're doing like videos for fun, right? We still try to keep the fun factor alive, right? But I don't know what to tell you guys. So, you're gonna be missing 2 fights, right? At this point, right? There's gonna be 2 wins. It's still the same character streak, but for a different reason, I can't really feature wins 13 and 14, and it's nothing to do with the fight, right? I won the fights quite easily, right? It has to do it's just it was just a little bit more risque, right? But it's nothing against the opponent. The opponent was cool, right? The opponent was good times, right? It's just that I don't want to, you know, like have to deal with like weirdness on my channel, right? Right, so that's as much as I'll say there, right? So there's a little bit of drama, not really. Right, so Caribbean Juicy, I've faced him before with the Eddie character model. He's a Bushin now, right? I faced him earlier on. I don't even think he remembers, right? Most Tekken players that you'll like message in private, right, and just say good game, and, you know, keep it like casual and cordial and all that stuff. Like you'll say like if the like same thing happened in FIFA, right? Unless you face them in terms of matchmaking, unless you face them and they're like known in the community, like extremely known, right? Unless you like, it's like I used to use this line, the usual suspects. You don't get that as much in Tekken because in Tekken there's a lot of like, just in terms of like distribution all across, right? You'll matchmake with somebody in Japan. You'll matchmake with somebody in Europe. You'll matchmake with somebody in the Middle East, which is absolutely epic, right? And I don't even care if there's lag. That's just absolutely epic. Right? That's just something that wasn't there in the PlayStation 2 days, PlayStation 3 days, right? Early iterations, right? It was there, but it wasn't flush. It wasn't a fluid experience, right? As it is now, right? It's a little bit better, right? How we approach that. Well, maybe 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago. This community, right? So I've been here. I've been in all across the board, right? And there's like communities that I'm still a part of right now, right? Other competitive communities, right? That I don't even feature on my channel yet, right? I just keep it to myself, right? Because I don't want people to, you know, like sometimes when you want to like be a recluse, right? Even in the digital aspect, right? You're just like, man, I just want to chill out here. I don't want to like, you know. But the frame tearing, it was actually unbearable here, and you can mark it as no contest, right?
Round 1.
And this is one where I know this person takes their racing seriously, or maybe not. Maybe they're just really good, right? But I faced off against this one before, absolutely class opponent, right? Class opponent, right? So, as I stated, right, we couldn't feature the final 2 of the win streak, but the win streak did happen. You can see it at the beginning of this set of matches, right, against Caribbean Juicy, right? Went up to 14, and then Caribbean Juicy handed me my first loss. But as you can see, the red is right there, right, on the Wi-Fi signal, right, on the signal bar, on the connection bar. You can see the red as it's dipping, right? So it was actually really unbearable, right, in this match especially, right, because you have to time things internally, right? A lot of players know this, time it internally. Right? You can't be worried about what's on screen. You actually have to like use like foresight, right? And sidestep in this one, right? makes it a little bit more difficult. You have to recalibrate, like this is like known in the BC world, right? You have to, and in the sports world, right? There's a lot of like
Round 3.
active recalibration, right? In terms of like lag recalibration in your own brain, right? So you're catering for that recalibration, right? So if it appears on screen, you don't know, right? So it was like that where. But the funny thing is, right? I think my phone's ringing. I've been talking that long, right? But the funny thing about this, right, is that it's showing 69 milliseconds there, down, right? So I don't know if it's like frame tuning from the console, right? Here, where I just have to restart the console again, and it's a performance issue, or it really was like, you know, like just like sputters with the actual lag in the connection,
Round
right?
4.
Or something going on server side.
Fight.
But it was an absolute epic match regardless, right? Because we're doing on board like recalibration, right? We're doing like recalibration in a competitive mindset. So hats off to Kirby and Luigi. That's a whole different level of games, right? When these types of issues happen, right? Because he's consummate professional. It's a way of highlighting professionalism, right? In digital, right? And what I mean by that is you can mark it as a whether you mark it as a no contest or don't mark it as a no contest, it doesn't even matter, right? You get kudos for just attempting it regardless, right? So hats off to Kirby and Juicy for these matches, right? And I felt like the issue is, right, like for me, like not issue, like I was trying, like if you like you have to like manage your expectations when you go for like for a win streak in Tekken 8, right? Because any player, like I said, it could be a stamina issue, it could be that you don't know how to block correctly with the character that you're using, or they have unique combo strings and timing, right? Everybody times their combos differently, right? And you know, like could be lag, could be anything, right? On any given day, like I said at the start of this video, in previous videos, and in the FIFA community, it's the same thing. On any given day, any other player really keeps the game, the fighting game keeps alive and fresh and fun, right? You just have to manage your expectations. That's really what we're talking about. You were able to manage your expectations as to what you see on the screen and not really worry about that counter as much. So I think you get the point. You get what you're working with. So wins 1, right? You see wins 1. So we're restarting back to 1. You're like, here we go, because we're ending off with an advance in a different way, an advanced match in a different way, right? Because we're both calibrating for that, those jitters, right? We're doing combos real time against the jitters, right? So we're both facing the connection rather than facing each other, right? So that's what I want to say there, right? So hats off to Luigi. This is probably my second or third time using this character. Used that before, right? It's Bushin. Earned that rating inside and out, right? Absolutely epic match, right? It's just anyone, any online gamer, right? Any online gamer, you don't even have to be a pro, right? Or anything like that. They'll tell you. Anyone will tell you, right? I've mentioned this years ago on this channel, right? They'll tell you, no one cares if you win or lose, right? Like no one cares that, like they care, but they don't care that. No one cares if you win or lose. They care they have a good stable connection, right? And you don't lag and see stuff like this, right? So it's a little bit of a letdown, but it's not a letdown, right? Because it was still a good time. So it was still fun. It was still a great experience to start my morning, right? And now I gotta go on the exercise bike. I'm not joking. I'm not joking with this guy, right? I've fallen off a cliff. It's really just, you know, like my sleeping schedule is still, you know, like I'm trying to make the best of everything. And like I think at the start of this video, we spoke about the check engine light on the car, and everything's blinking red. Everything's been blinking red for a couple months now, but we're in overtime where that's concerned. And yeah, so guys, with the Vergil, Devil May Cry hybrid character model, guys, we are tuning out. Absolutely epic day, epic win streak. Right? Hats off to the fighting game community. Hats off to being accepted into the Olympics, esports community. Guys, peace, love, all the blessings to you and yours. Cheers. Sid out. Absolutely epic round of matches, guys. Hats off. Good luck.